So Tez, I call you and Key my JSU mass comm brothers. We were all there at the same time majoring in mass communications, and we were very active in that department, learning the ins and outs of that field. So what were your original plans for after graduation before the music thing took off for you?
So I had already had a entry level position at CNN, editing position at CNN lined up based with this program that they had catered to HBCU students to kind of come and work in at CNN. Had already got my resume taped together with the help of Sonny Smith, who's an adjunct professor there, who let me work at WLBT and kind of helped me out.
Dr. Sonny, love her.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of helped me out and get my stuff together to kind of get that job. So I thought that's what I was going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? I literally thought that, well, that's where I'm going until, my best friend called me and was like, yo, I need a manager. So, and kind of shifted that whole dynamic, So, yeah, that's where I was going to.
Wow. Yeah. So the best friend called and said, hey, I need you to manage. And so you had, you took that phone call and you were like, okay, let's do it.
I didn't say, okay, let's do it at first, right? Because I didn't know, I was like, I was definitely, because what happened was I sat out a couple semesters, maybe a semester or two. I think one was fall 2000 or spring 2000, spring 99, and then right before that maybe spring 98. I think I took both of those semesters off just to go on tour. With this when Cash Money had first started popping. You remember they came to school in 99. They did that big concert when it was hot. So I took a couple semesters off just to see. I was picking up bags and just on the road as a roadie, having fun. And, I left there was like, oh, okay, this is dope. This is fun, but let me go back to school and figure out my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, like good luck, my friend. I'm happy everything popping for you, but I'm gonna go back and finish at Jackson State. So I didn't know I didn't think there was anything for me there. I didn't see it at that point. It took Wayne to kind of see something in me that I didn't even see in myself. That I had the capabilities to of being his manager and doing the things and running the company and doing the things that we did. So it definitely wasn't a let's go. It was let me pray on this and figure this out because I got this other thing set up, and I kind of got my answer, and that was like to protect your friend. That was the spirit of me going out there, to protect him from the business in the world and make sure he don't get taken advantage of, and I kind of figured it out along the way.
Gee, so how far do you and Wayne go back? Like, when did that relationship start? How did it start?
It started, 94, 95. Yeah, like when I was like, he was like 12, I was like 15. So we met at the school we went to, McMain. McMain, we met at like a 7th, 12th grade secondary school. And he kind of, when he came in 7th grade, I was like the big dog at the school and kind of took him under my wing. He joined the band there. When I started the band there, he joined the band because his mom had took him. He had just shot himself as a kid. He had shot himself, and his mom was trying to take him away from rap because he was watching a rap video when he had his stepfather's gun and turned and put it in and pulled the trigger and almost lost his life. So his mom took him away from rap music for a minute. So he was trying to figure out his way as a kid, and he caught me at that point. I was starting the band. So I was like, look, man, come join this. Come join the band. He played cymbals in the band, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. So he played cymbals in the band, and then he moved it to my neighborhood. There was an area in New Orleans called New Orleans East, where the middle cut, when you kind of make it out the hood, and when you're like middle class black, it was like probably like North Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like North Jackson, you compare it to Jackson. So it was like that's what New Orleans East was. So I had just moved to the East a couple years before that from my hood, and his mom and them was just getting to a point where they was able to move out there. So along with he didn't have any friends that was out in the area, so he used to catch the bus with me after school and come just chill at my crib. So we got real tight. That's how we got bonded. You know what I'm saying? We got bonded from, one, I was just a big dog at school, and two, he was doing all things I was doing as far as extracurricular activities and just catching the bus home with me because he had just moved to that new neighborhood that we were staying in. So we got tight and been tight ever since, all day.
Man, that's an amazing story. Like, I'm sure it's a lot of people that probably didn't know that, all of those things that you just shared about, you and Wayne's history and you guys growing up and, becoming friends. That's actually a pretty cool story, man. I think I got another tear. Eyeball.
Come on, Keith.
That was kind of touching.
Man, come on.
The whole comedian, bro.
Oh yeah, he is.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ted, Ted, so here's a question. So when did you know that Wayne would be that dude, like that guy? Like, okay, he's gonna be that
greatest
guy.
rapper alive.
Right. Yeah. Well, when did you know that?
I knew he was gonna be great when I first met him. Mind you, at this time, 95 down south, it wasn't popular rap like it is now, where all these kids want to be rappers, right? So it wasn't a popular thing. He literally, and in the school we went to was like a college prep school, probably one of the best public schools in New Orleans. And most people in those schools, that school is literally preparing you to go to college, and everybody, a lot of doctors, lawyers, career professionals that came from our school, like that's in our era, right? So nobody was in there rapping. Literally nobody in the entire high school was rapping. He was the only one. So he used to walk around just bebopping, bouncing on his chest, making these rap songs in 7th grade. So he's 11, 12 years old. And when he started kicking it with me, hanging with me, he'd just be at the crib when we'd be home, wait for his mom to pick him up after she get off. And when he rapped his first rap to me, it was about fast food restaurants. And when he flipped it so cold, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, dog, you know what I'm saying? From there, I knew that he was special, he was gifted, and he was talented, and he was meant to do exactly what he's doing. Because his wordplay at that point about McDonald's and Popeyes and Wendy's and all the fact, he had a whole rap about fast food. It was one of his first raps he ever wrote. Right. That's crazy. I wonder if he ever remember. I doubt if he remember any of those lyrics. But that was just a crazy time, So from then, like I said, at 12. But the thing was, and he likes to tell this story, I used to tell him when we was in those days, look, that's cool or whatever, but that shit ain't gonna take us out the hood. So you gotta, we gotta hustle these books to get out, because that ain't gonna take us nowhere.
Man.
So he liked to throw that. He liked to throw that in my face, because I told him that ain't, because I didn't see the end of that. That wasn't practical to me. Practical to me was going to college and getting a career in some field, right? That was drilled in our head. Getting out of here, getting out the city, or not getting out the city, higher education. That was the way to, that's what all the old folks, that's all they knew. That was kind of instilled in us, in my generation. So a rap career was not nothing that I was like, oh, nah. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's not going to get us anywhere, dog. So that's a cool hobby, but let's focus on these books. So it's crazy how things turn, you know what I'm saying? And he became the boss, and I'm working for him, and we built what we built. So
yeah, man. it's crazy. So earlier you had mentioned, you said you set out a semester to go on the road, and you held a few bags, and you said, hey, this is cool, but I need to get back to school. So did going on the road affect school any? Like when you were in school, was there an effect? Was there like a time where you had to choose one or the other? Like how did it affect school for you?
When I left, when I first was going on the road, I wasn't even in school, so I literally took semesters out. So I mean that affected the way it took me longer to get out to graduate than I was supposed to. So it definitely affected that. You know what I'm saying? I was gone. It was only that last year, like 03 going into 04. Started in January 04. I was graduated that May. So those months, I was leaving every weekend. I started and straight out the gate, I was leaving Jackson every weekend, booking shows and stuff and going on the road. So that last semester, I had to juggle finishing up and working in the industry at the same time. That's the only times where they kind of were going on at the same time when I was doing both.
Okay. So you had it. So you kind of had it spread out. Like, okay, I don't want to lose focus on anything. So let me just put this down here, and then I can focus on this. Then I'll stop this and then go back to what I was originally doing. So it sounded like you kind of had it. Planned out. Like, okay, I know I cannot chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. So I'm going to spit the gum out and just walk.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped into it not knowing what to like. I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I definitely knew that both wasn't gonna work. I knew I couldn't be on the whole damn tour, traveling and still in school. Online class. None of that existed around that time.
No, it didn't.
That wasn't an option. So, I believed in Wayne. Like I said, I believed in Wayne and what he was doing. And I was like, let me, he wanted me to come on the road. And I was like, let me see what this is, and like I said, it was fun. I got to see the country, got to see places I'd never had, got to go places I'd never been. Definitely eye-opener. But I didn't see anything for myself. I saw the upper trajectory for him and his career, but I didn't see where I fit in that. I didn't know what a manager was at that time. Right. They had no managers within Cash Money. Like, I was Wayne's first manager, like Baby and Slim kind of ran everything. It's so unethical now, but they kind of was the label, the manager, and everything. That's why they probably was stealing earlier on, and even later shit. But not mismanaging money. I don't want to say stealing, just mismanaging money. They were young though, I tell them they were young and didn't know the music business themselves on a major level. So it caused a lot of rift in the way business was being handled, But all that's fixed now, so I don't want to knock on their downfalls. They eventually fixed everything, and everything is fixed to this point. So, but at the time, the point was I didn't see anything for myself there. So I was like, this is great for you, dog. I see where you're going with this. You're gonna be great. Let me go back and figure out what I, as a man, figure out my path in life. So that's kind of why I went back.
Okay. So Tez, check this out. What are some of your biggest challenges or times that you wanted to give up? I know that's kind of like, that's kind of a vague question, and I'm going to tell you why I asked that. Me personally, I've had experiences and times of things where I just wanted to quit, like give up, but being in the boom, they taught us, like, there's no quitting. You don't quit. You persevere. You keep going. And, and I think my boom days and my boom teachings have had me to say, okay, you know what, just stick it out. It's going to get better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. So what are some of the challenges that or times that you faced where you wanted to just give up on anything?
It's mostly happened. I mean, in his job, it's happened. 2 times. One time I did. For like 6-7 months. That was 2005. So when I first get into it, one thing was happening at the same time of that my senior year. I kind of slowed down and joined New Jerusalem out there in Jackson. Got saved. Thanks to my brother Calvin Barrett, who's not a percussion instructor. He was a minister down in New Orleans at the time. He was a minister at the time. So my life was changing. You know what I'm saying? I accepted God in my life, and my whole trajectory on life was changing. That's why when I said I prayed before I came into the music business, because I was just like, I had just got saved. It was just like, and I felt like I was delivered and from a lot. And I was like, God, how you going to just deliver me and then bring me back into this worldly job that's is this really for me? You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure that out. So it was like spiritual warfare right there. Like, what's going on? Like, how you just pull me away and help me out and, put me on the solid ground. And then like, oh, here's this chance to really go in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure out if that was really for me, bro. And that's why I say that when you asked me before, that decision wasn't just prompt. It took me a couple months to really decide I was gonna do what I'm doing. But a couple years in, of course, it was hard in the beginning because I didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So the learning curve was I had to figure everything out on the fly. I had to ask a lot of questions, be a fly on the wall on a lot of people, and try to align myself with people I trust that I could gain knowledge from, And I think Wayne and I got into a heavy. I forget. It was all I can remember was on Chris Brown give me that video set. It wasn't even arguing with me. It was arguing between him and Currency. But I just got into it, and we got into it heavy and scuffled a little bit. And I was like, man, all right, I'm out. I'm not about to deal with this craziness and deal with you, with this. And I left, and I went back to Jackson State, actually, got in the master's program. Dr. Lewis Liddell gave me another scholarship. He let me, he put me as percussion instructor again. And during that time, I went to church, and I don't know if it was the Pastor Pickett, or if it was one of the deacons that I was talking to, but I was just letting them know, I was just venting like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I was in the world, and I got into it, and he said something off the wall, and I wasn't taking that, and I came back and I left, you know what I'm saying? They was like, man, and I just remember the conversation was basically like, yo, Tez, like, just because God said, God gave you a purpose, and showed you were supposed to be there, he never said that walk was going to be easy. She was like, if anything, that's when your friend probably needed you the most. So you need to go back. And understand, that the purpose that you're living in that he gave you is not going to be easy. It's not going to always be easy. It's going to be them trying times. So that was one. So I went back, and the rest was kind of history. You know what I'm saying? Everything else was kind of fell into place right after that. So that was 2005. I actually had quit. The second time was that I thought. The second time where I thought, to give up, or the second time I thought about giving up was most recently. Everybody, it was very public about the lawsuit that was going on between Wayne and Cash Money, so that lasted 4 or 5 years. This is at a point where, I knew where that we were right in the grounds that we were standing on within this lawsuit, but it got to an ugly point, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely heavy on Wayne because, like I said, from 12 years old, this is the first time that he was able to do wasn't able to put out, his music and which he lives and dies for. You know what I'm saying? So he was handicapped to do that. So it took a toll on him. And me still being the friend who's here to protect his friend. Trying to stay positive through this whole situation. And like I said, like everything from '05 when I went back on, I've kind of saw where the direction where I was supposed to go to in this business. You know what I'm saying? So all of it wasn't easy, but I saw the end goal. You know what I'm saying? The end goal was always in front of my face, and I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a time where during that lawsuit, we got to a point, maybe 3 years in of this 4 or 5 year lawsuit, where I couldn't see the end of the tunnel. Like I didn't know how to get out, and I usually always had the answer. You know what I'm saying? I was the architect of this whole, of the whole brand, you know what I'm saying? The whole brand, the whole Young Money brand. This is the first time where I was like in a dark place, you know what I'm saying? I've broken down, cried, prayed, all those things for because in everybody else's mind on the outside, Taz always had the answers. Taz is a superhero. Taz gonna make it work, So I was at a point where I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to, it wasn't about like giving up on him, but I just had no answers, right? So I remember being in LA, so I was just like, man, let me go out just to get my mind off it. And Russell Simmons had Def Comedy Jam. He had rebrought Def Comedy Jam out to LA. So I was like, let me just go laugh to clear my mind, right? So I went out, went to the comedy show. It was hilarious. I walked out there feeling good, just to escape from all the drama that I had to deal with. And as I was walking out, there was this random lady walked up to me and was like, brother, I don't know why I'm supposed to be talking to you. I don't know why I'm supposed to be talking to you or who you are. I have no idea who you are, but God just put something on my heart to tell you that he's with you and it's going to be all right. And when I say, bro, I broke down, literally broke down, cause you know what I'm saying, cause I thought at that point my prayers wasn't answered. I have no vision, I ain't know what to do, but I literally broke down at that moment. It was like, man, and I still didn't have the answer. I still couldn't see the end at that point when I got that message, but what I did know that is it was gonna turn out all right. You know what I'm saying? So my faith just kept going. And then it turned out, in the end, it turned out much better than all right. You know what I'm saying? It turned out way better than what we have expected the outcome of that lawsuit to be. So,
right.
Those are two of the times when those trying times of giving up came into place.
Wow, that's powerful, man. And, it's great to hear that, it was your faith of all things that pushed you through those times and guided you through those times, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. And obviously, we talk a lot about Wayne, but who are some of the other artists that you managed or worked with or done business with?
Oh man, right after Wayne, the very next artist was with Wayne, I met my partner, which is one of the reasons of my success, bro. His name G. Roberson, 3 years in, who we were like-minded, same morals, same values. So he was managing Kanye West at the time. And he kind of really helped catapult my thought process. So we merged our companies together, now 13 years ago. And we had Kanye and Wayne at the same time. And the very next person was Drake, who came up to me. And at this point, I didn't think personally, like I said, I came into this business not knowing I even wanted to be a manager and didn't think I was going to want to manage. It was going to be manager to anyone else. I partnered with my partner G just because, like I said, he was an ally who would help me grow. But I always thought he can have Kanye, I have Wayne, and I'm just going to be Wayne's guy. I never thought to expand the management side of the business. I was really here just to help my friend. But, when Drake's probably the next person to ever come to me and was just like, yo, can you manage me and manage my career? I would love for you to be a part of my life and manage my career. And I was just like, really? You know, at first, right? Because I was recruiting him for Young Money, the label, but I, I never thought, I never thought to like really be in his career like I was, and how he came at me. So I talked to Wayne about it. Wayne was like, hell yeah, man, go ahead, manage him. Shit, as long as you make sure he come to, if you come to Young Money, that'd be better for him if he's at Young Money. You know what I'm saying? For you to be managing his career. So I was like, okay, and that was the very next person, bro. And that was, we made history and he's still making history to this day.
You are too.
And yeah, so from that is like, the Nicki Minaj, the Jill Scotts and the Roots with my partner Sean G, who came aboard. Most recently that everyone would probably know is probably Lil Nas X, which was in the last year, 2 years. Yeah. So the roster's been T.I. has been us managed Future at one point, Young Jeezy at one point. It's been a lot, bro. Yeah.
That's what's up. We want to hear some Drake and Nicki stories though, man. What are they really like?
Both of them are great people, bro. They're very freaking talented. I think one thing that Wayne and what he sees in a lot of his artists is work ethic. You know what I'm saying? I think that people who like to work, you know what I'm saying, who's going to outwork everyone. And I think they picked up a lot of that from him early on, that trait about him. Because that's one thing Wayne, still to this day, no matter how many records he sold, no matter how much success he has, he still go to the studio every day. It's like he don't see going to the studio as a job. You know what I'm saying? It's really a hobby for him. So he enjoys it. So to this day, he's probably outworking every single artist, and it's one of the reasons why he's lasted so long in this business. And those guys took that from him, they're definitely great people. Nicki is outside. I mean, one of the best outside of just female lyricists, just one of the best lyricists. You know what I'm saying? She's a super goal oriented and a boss. And Drake, the personalities are different. Drake is more extroverted. Wayne and Nicki are more introverted. He's the one that's gonna just be in a restaurant with everyone else and go up to everybody's table, say hello, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Just an example of him is just more recently of Drake. We was out here a couple months ago in Atlanta when he was shooting that last song he had with Future. And we was doing some after parties and stuff, and he was like, yo, Tez, man, he was like, it's been 10 years since we really, we started this journey together. Let's go right, because my first time, he moved, I was living in Atlanta at that point, and I moved him into a condo I had. He's like, let's go back to the condo, where because he made his first So Far Gone mixtape out here in Atlanta, and started his first album. So he was like, let's go back to, the condo and take a toast for 10 years to where it all started. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take a shot of this, and enjoy this moment, go back to this condo where I lived at, when you gave me and I created all this music. So we did that. And he was just like, yeah, man, and let's go to Jackson. I was like, what? He was like, wow. This is his idea. He was like, let's go to Jackson. I was like, what? He was like, he's like, yeah, man, let's go back to where, you brought me to your club and nobody knew who I was. and wow. And we hit that stage and like, he was like, let's go, let's relive those days. I was like, for one, bro, nobody can afford to book you in Jackson for a party, for one. like you definitely outgrown the Jackson market and what the hell you getting. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. I was like, and for two, we ain't nobody the same thing. I was like, nobody can afford to get you there. I was like, he was like, nah. He was like, don't worry about that, but I'm not worried. I don't want no. He was like, Like, I don't want no money. He was like, I don't want no money, man. He was like, you know what I'm saying, we'll take the jet, we'll have a fly there. Just book a party and let's just go have fun. He was like, anything y'all make, you and CJ could take. I was like, well, CJ could take it. I'm straight. You know, he was like, whatever. He was like, I don't want anything from it. I just want to go back to the beginning and celebrate. And let's look at what 10 years later looked like. You know, from where we started. You know what I'm saying? From when we started, when you was bringing me to Jackson, when nobody really knew me. You know what I'm saying? Like all those places. Like he's that type person, bro. Like, you know, and that's what makes me respect him. I respect the shit out of Drake for things like that. That really makes him he stands out as a person. As big as he is, for the biggest artist in the world, you know, he's still humble to say, you know, to be like, let's go to Jackson, Mississippi, and have fun.
But you know, that's got to be, that's Cortez. That has to be like a very touching moment for somebody to want to just experience that moment with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, put everything to the side, you know, I just want to experience this with you. Like, that's got to be like, and that sounds like something that you would do, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like a Cortez kind of thing. Like, man, let's just go here. But that had to touch you some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Just like to hear that, because he didn't want to do anything. It wasn't about a show. It was about the moment and celebrating how far we've come together as partners. Like, so that's cool, man. That's real cool.
Yeah, but nah. It's definitely those moments that, you know, and I don't even manage Drake anymore, right? After his first six years, you know, after we made him a star, he promoted his within his own crew, you know, to give them positions and jobs, you know, but we still maintain a great brotherhood and relationship. But that's what it's all about, dog. See, those are those rewarding moments. People always ask me, you know, what is my most fulfilling moments out of this business, and what I get out of this business, right? And people would think it's the material things, but it's not that at all. You know what I'm saying? There's moments like that, you know, that I felt appreciated, you know, different things like that, bro. Like just 2 years ago, he did the same thing with New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Like that "Nice for What" song he had, and the Kiki song, in My Feelings song. You know, he hit me up. He hit me up and was just like, "Yo, Taz, you know, I got this." He was like, "I got this song for the summer. I really want to make a song that make women feel good, that women can dance to and feel good and not feel like they're being degraded, right?" And he was just like, "I want to make this song, and when you took me to New Orleans, you know, I want to capture the essence of that, because that how people reacted, how the ladies reacted to bounce music, you know. I want them to feel, you know, when you was taking me back then, I want them to feel that way, bro." So, you know, he sent me the song, and he was like, "Help me make it into, you may help me authenticate it and make sure it's real bounce." You know, and I called my homeboy Fifth Ward Weeby from my neighborhood, rest in peace, to bring Black and Mild in, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? We lit up the summer with those songs, but you know, and then he was like, let's go back to New Orleans to shoot this video. You know what I'm saying? Let's take it back. We got to shoot the video down there. You know what I'm saying? We gotta capture that culture of what it is. But that's the type of person he is, man. And how those pay it forward moments, because I know other artists that, you know, they get into their spaces of celebrity and don't like to be out. And mind you, it's a hassle when you get to a certain level, you know, just to be in the public and really enjoy yourself. But, you know, Drake is one of those cats that, you know, it's different from him. You know what I'm saying? It's really different. You know, he's all about those moments and very much so appreciative of the work. You know, that's what I felt. You know, I felt appreciated. You know, after 10 years, you know, you want to go back. You want to relive the beginning. We don't have to relive the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You're the biggest artist in the world. We could just keep partying, and we could go anywhere in the world and just keep celebrating life, you know what I'm saying? But it was important to him to let's go to Jackson, Mississippi. Bro, like, oh,
wow.
Okay. Wow. You know.
You know, it's so me hearing that and being from Jackson, Mississippi, you know, I wouldn't have believed this story if somebody else told it to me. You know, I believe it, of course, you know, but I wouldn't have believed it because, you know, Jackson, Mississippi is a smaller market, and, you know, Jackson being one of those places where, you know, if you're not from there or if you've not spent time there, you wouldn't understand the love and how much culture and how much fun and how much you can do in Jackson, Mississippi. So It's like me trying to tell somebody from another part of the country how great Jackson, Mississippi is and how many great things you have to offer until someone comes there and they experience that themselves. So, man, shout out to you big time, man. And I'm real appreciative of this moment right here that we're having because I'm learning things about my friend Cortez, and I'm also learning about some things that you did, Cortez, where, you know, and you talked about God, and not to get too far into it, but, man, God prepared you in order, he put you in a position to be that person to those people you've been. Like, you've saved people's lives. You've changed people's lives. I know this personally I just know this. But just listening to the stories of Drake and Nicki Minaj and Wayne, just hearing what you've done just for them, people don't know that. So, man, like, I salute you in this moment, man, just being that person and listening to what God was telling you, because that's all it was. God told you, hey, you need to go here and do this. And you went with no direction. You're like, okay, God, I'm here, so what do I do next? You know, you showed up and it worked out for you. But, you know, you mentioned 10 years, and you mentioned you and Drake celebrated 10 years, and, you know, I think about how you were there for Drake and everybody else's rise to stardom. Like, you saw them, you met them, no one knew who they were, and you gave them the shot or whatever you did to bring them on. What was it like watching them blow up like that?
It was rewarding, bro. I mean, that's like I was just saying on the last question. That's the best thing, you know what I'm saying? That's the best thing for me, the most rewarding thing for me in this business. To get an artist, for them to tell you their dreams, and you help them reach that point. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm older now, you know, all the benchmarks that happened along the way, I probably really didn't get to enjoy them as much because I was just doing the work, head down, vision forward, just putting in the work. So, but, you know, like now, you know, people call me OG in the music business. I still don't feel that old, but I look back now and just like the 10-year moment we were just talking about, now I'm able to appreciate those moments even more, you know. But definitely when they got to become the household names that they were, was the pinnacle of rewards for each one of those artists. And I saw them, bro. Our first tour ever, we used to have these conversations on my tour bus. We had 2 tour buses. Wayne had his bus and I had my bus. So on my bus, all on one bus, we just had 2 buses. All of my bus was Drake, Nicki, Tiger, 2 Chainz, and the dancers, and CJ. So that was my tour bus. So out of everybody, they was all on the bus bunking, all trying to get on. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had made a name for themselves. So all those people were in one space, traveling the country together, just having these conversations about, you know, trying to be on Wayne level where he was. You know what I'm saying? I had him his first arena tour, you know, but hungry to reach those goals. So we used to have a lot of these conversations on the bus. We played, you know, we had a lot of fun, but had a lot of these conversations about, you know, about making it and getting there. So to see each one of them, even 2 Chainz, you know what I'm saying, with my brother to this day, and said, you know, and we're just like, bro, you know, he had Duffel Bag Boy with Wayne, right? He was like, man, I pay my own money, you know, just to come out on tour with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that I could be, you know, I know that I want to see that and see, I want to see that and have that vision and with what y'all doing and knowing that I could, be there and just perform the song. He's like, I'll pay y'all to come on. And he was like, nah, man, you don't got to pay us. He's like, you good. You got a bunk on the bus. We get your room. And he just came out every night just to perform that one song. But, if you ask him, what I'm saying, those were learning lessons for him to see that vision and knowing what he could be. What I'm saying? He still was just in Player Circle at the time. He wasn't even 2 Chainz. He was still Titty Boy at the time. 2 Chainz wasn't even better yet, So, yeah, bro. So to see, to look back and know that all these artists were up, were just hungry at the time trying to make it, and all of them, what I'm saying, even Tyga, has surpassed everything that they were talking about on that bus. Is very much so rewarding.
Wow. And that's some inspiring stuff, man. I mean, you've played such a huge role in those careers. Do you ever sit back and reflect on that? I know you're not the type of guy to pat yourself on the back, but I mean, you were instrumental. So that's something that you reflect on?
I'm just like literally, bro, within these last couple years, I'm just really starting to, I never have though. Like, what I'm saying? Like even when people congratulate me and oh, Tez, you need to write a book, and I was like, nobody don't want to hear from me. I'm like, I'm always that guy, what I'm saying? Because I don't know, I still to this day feel like it's more out there, what I'm saying? It's the chapters are evolving, but I still think that it's still unwritten. I still think I have things to do. I haven't got that finale point, what I'm saying? I see it transitioning now in my life, and really the understanding of within this last couple of years, last 4 years since I got back to Atlanta, I have understood, acknowledged and accepted I do have a voice. What I'm saying? It probably was perfectly done by all these younger rappers coming up to me calling me OG and stuff, but I do understand that, and I understand that I have to do something. I think God has on my heart now that I have to do something with all these years and voice and to pay it forward. So that's what I've been doing lately. What I'm saying? That's what I've been doing lately with the political activism down here, and then this new company I started called Be Great. Be Great, which is, I don't know if y'all familiar with Masterclass.
What is that?
So Masterclass is this big multi-billion-dollar company now where you have different professionals and people from different walks in life teaching courses basically on how they got to where they got to. What I'm saying? So you might have Emerald the chef teaching about how you become Emerald, or the Elon Musk telling you how he created Tesla and his innovative ideas, right? So it's that. So that's what Masterclass is basically. So myself, Be Great. It's basically the same concept, same format, but it's for Black people. So I'm bringing in all the Black thought leaders in all different walks of life. What I'm saying? Whether it's your clothing boutique owner online, or your actor, or your hair salon owner, or your music manager, or engineer. So I'm just trying to, because one thing that I do understand as I look back in my life, I tried to figure out within these last couple of years, since this country been very divided, what was my trigger point? What was my trigger point to know that I could succeed and I could make it and I could be on an equal playing field to our white counterparts? And that kind of led back to education. It was that school McMain where I met Wayne, where all this journey started, where I first joined the band, where I was taught college prep, So education has been a common denominator through my entire life. So I was just like, and I understand that, the public school system especially in the cities, and for our black kids, it's still messed up. You know what I'm saying? It's still teaching archaic curriculums that's not helping them. So one thing I did have at that school, McMain, that I said, like, we was able to get, it was engineers and doctors and pharmacists and, lawyers used to come back that looked like us, that graduated from our school, come back from our same neighborhood. So we had exposure to that at that school. That was so great about that school. So I was like, maybe these kids, maybe there's a kid in these neighborhoods. That's one thing. That may be one thing that all they need is the exposure, because they don't get it. So that's what the Be Great platform is going to be. It's kids that don't know how. That's very creative and very artistic. I was just having a conversation about this with somebody the other day. Their daughter is in high school into art. Into art in all different forms. But when she had a conversation with her dad, she was like, I'm just going to be a anesthesiologist. Sorry. And he was like, but your love is for the arts. You know what I'm saying? You do everything for the arts. And she was like, I don't see where there's jobs that I still want to make money. So she was like, I don't want to see it. I don't know where there's jobs that where the skill set could come and play and make a lot of money. He was like, well, there's creative directors and there's a lot of spaces in there, but our kids just don't know. They don't know about those jobs that they have. They don't know about a lot of jobs in the music industry. And that's the problem with music and sports. They know about the athletes and know about the rappers, but they don't understand that Wayne's music engineers, that records him every day, is making six figures. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Making six figures, and there's now every single corporation in America now has a social media department. So with these kids going on Instagram every day, there's departments and jobs, social media managers. There's jobs that every corporation now has that.
Come on now.
These kids just
get out of here.
These kids just don't know that. Damn, I can have a job doing what I like to do on Instagram and Facebook all day. Yes, that's a skill set
every day. Wow,
it's a skill set.
Like a career.
It's something that you could be building a resume on right now on your own socials to show how you make your own socials work. That could get you a whole career in life. But they don't have that exposure. So I'm gonna take the Black social media manager, which Adidas has. Adidas has, and who else we just get to deal with? American Eagle, their VP of their social media manager, their VP in their area is a black girl. I plan on onboarding all these people on the platform so these kids could have exposure and have these courses taught, basically to tell these people how to be like them. And show these kids that there's different things. You know what I'm saying? There's a ton of different jobs that we don't get. We're not exposed to that. The private people the kids at these private schools, and that's not in our traditional neighborhood. They're getting that exposure. We don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. And it's a HBCU thing also. You know what I'm saying? I'm planning on bringing this and implementing this to HBCUs, because some of our HBCUs don't know. And have curriculums and courses and majors that's innovative to what's going on right now in the tech, in the whole STEM and the whole STEM, under this whole STEM umbrella in the creative space. So I plan on not only taking this to the kids, but there's going to be a nonprofit extension called Be Great Together that's going to partner with HBCUs to kind of do some table talks and conversations to try to bring all these influences right into our universities, and hopefully they, on the larger scale, help them develop programs or courses or classes to implement so that our kids could be could have access to these jobs that are getting, to these jobs that are being had in this world that we don't normally get to see and have exposure to.
Wow.
That was
and that was so you had so here's the crazy part about all that what you just said. I'm sitting here not moving, and I'm listening, and I'm thinking to myself, I need to be taking notes because Cortez is teaching me something right now. Like, I need to get on social media once we're done with this, and I need to get my social media game back up and running very well. We have a Facebook page that I run, and my wife and I run, and we post a lot of crazy, funny content. I like to talk and speak, so there may be an opportunity. See that shameless plug, Corey? There may be an opportunity for me. There may be an opportunity.
Bro, let me tell you, I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off. I'm going to let you get right back to it. I promise it's not going to be long. There's a company now, digital marketing companies, influencers are making hundreds of thousands of dollars based off of their followers. That's the biggest thing in music right now, bro. Like, there's a company called Get Engaged out here in Atlanta that they were behind the Megan Thee Stallion Savage Challenge. Y'all probably see these TikTok challenges and things. They manage influencers, right? So they get in these campaigns, and these people that's just putting content, coming up with dances, the shit that you and your wife, the shit that you've been doing forever, Terrell. Like forever, since Musa and Moog.
No, you went all the way back. Are you serious?
The shit that you've been doing forever, bro, is a tangible asset right now in media. Like in media.
Wow.
It's the key. It's where all advertising spending dollars. If you build a following, you know how to market that following, and show a company that you could make money off of. Like, they have managers, they have social media. There's management companies now that just manage influencers. And influencers are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, bro. Right. Like, it'd be crazy where it's millions of dollars in gaming, in video gaming. Like, and that business is only growing. That's about to be a multi-billion-dollar business. So these kids that just playing these games, or these kids, that's playing these games every day, that's understanding all the algorithms. Like, they could be writing these games, you know what I'm saying? Or they could be getting paid for playing if they playing at a great way. There's people that's showing up to arenas like concerts that's watching people just play video games, bro, and making millions of dollars. The dude Ninja probably made like $15 million last year, or more, 30 million, just for playing games, bro.
So you mean to tell me that I should not have stopped playing my Nintendo? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Right. If we were the kids, they playing Nintendo like these kids. We went outside, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we did.
Our mama it's different. This is a different generation. But
they went outside now.
But it's becoming it's dollars coming in those worlds, bro. Like, everything that you've been doing. Everything that you've been doing, you still could do on the side, build your audience up, and still be making a side hustle or some money, or a real thing, or a full-time thing. Like, that's the way. That's the way. That's the way we think about music. I don't think about radio and getting records played on radio no more. The most money out of our radio budgets these days is digital campaigns. How can I? Because that's where everybody is, and it's not going to stop. Everybody's going to live on their handheld devices and their phones. That's where we're going to get all our information, even going forward. And the technology is going to become even smarter. So this is where everyone is living. This is where advertisers you see everything on Facebook. Y'all see these cookies spreading to where you could be searching something on the internet and you jump on Facebook and you see an ad for those same shoes you was, with that target marketing. Like, all that's purposely done, and that's where people are spending money. And influencers are the new commercials, right? Or the new television commercials and the new people who getting endorsement deals. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't only have to be the celebrity. If you have an audience and your audience reaches the target market of these companies, they'll spend money with you. They'll give you they'll spend money with you. So just because they know they have a direct, your followers is and what it is with followers and on like your social media, that not like a television commercial, right? You could spend these people were spending millions of dollars on television commercials, and you had to figure out whether or not and kind of guess whether and hope that the audience will be sitting in front of their TV and looking at your commercial at the time that it's being aired, right? You know, you kind of knew the demographic of the program where you're going to buy slots around, but you know, it was all up in the air. How many people really view the commercial? Somebody could have went to the bathroom or not, and you know what I'm saying, or just flip to another channel, You never knew how many people would really tune into those programs until they actually happen. With social media, it's direct. You know what I'm saying? I know you have this many followers. I could look at the breakdown of where your people are, the age demographic, and everything. Analytics are there, so it's a more for sure bet in the advertising world to spend money with the influencer who they know has a certain demo that they're going to target and reach and possibly have a transaction. You know, so that's definitely the way of the future.
Well, man, I appreciate that information. You just dropped some jewels.
Definitely, man. That's some dope stuff. Great information. And, man, we've covered it all. I think we've held you long enough. I mean, we went all the way back to the early days. We talked about the music, the JSU days, the boom. We even touched on social justice. And then we talked about business and social media. So, man, this is a diverse show. Can't thank you enough. Before I let you go, I have to ask you, though, the words "thee I love." What does that mean to Cortez Bryant?
Oh man, that "thee I love" it means it means heart, bro. It means foundation. You know, means opportunity. It means pride, bro. So many things could come out of that word in Jackson State University, man. I'm definitely thankful for that experience. One of the best decisions I could have made in my life, you know, and that's why I always try to pay it forward, give back to that university for everything that it poured into me.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Well, Tez, man, again, we appreciate it. Anytime you want to come back on, man, you know you're welcome. So definitely let's link up and let's do some live shows where we can all come together.
I'm here, bro. I'm here, man. Appreciate y'all having me, dog.
Most definitely, man. I enjoyed it, man. Georgie.
All right,
yes, sir.